In this section, we'll talk more about object modification. Here I have two lines that intersect each other, and I want them to be trimmed. And I can use one to trim the other based on it. So when I give the trim command, I have the option to choose my mode. I can click on mode and I can select either standard or quick. Let's check standard, and it asks me to select my object. So I'll select my cutting object. This is my cutting object. And I press enter. Now everything I touch will get deleted by my cutting object. So if I touch this one and click, it will delete the highlighted part. If I touch this one and click, it will delete the other part. So based on this cutting line that I chose, I may want to cut this one or this one. So click, and when I want to finish my command, I tap enter on the keyboard to finish. Now let's redo that one more time. Give the trim command, and now I want the quick mode. So click on the mode and quick. And now I can go here and I don't need to select any cutting edge. I just can click on anything and cut it until the next passing line. So if I had a more complex geometry here, I could use the quick mode to cut any of the lines that I wanted until they pass through other lines. And I can also do trim and double tap enter to get into quick mode even faster and click on whatever I want to have trimmed. Sometimes lines are shorter than I need them, so I need to extend the lines. Usually we use the extend command, and if we double tap enter, once we highlight the line near its end, it will extend to the next passing line, like you see here. And if I go to the other, near the other end, it will extend to the next passing line on the other side, because I have a rectangle here. So basically, if I click here, it will extend the upper portion. If I click here, it will extend down here the downward portion. Tap enter on the keyboard to finish the command. But besides that, I can also use it similar to my trim command. So I Control Z and went back where I had my line here, and I can give the extend command and tap enter, and then I can choose my boundary edge and select an edge. Tap enter, and now I can select what to extend. So this one here, and it extended until my boundary here, and on the bottom as well if I want to. Tap enter to finish the command. Now let me build the rectangle. So give the rectangle command, click once, and give the coordinate at 80 by 40, enter, and say I want this edge to be chamfered. Chamfered edge means that instead of having like a corner here like we have now, a line will pass through like that and the corner gets cut off. So if I want a specific chamfer This is usually done by giving two types of coordinates. Either you can give an angle and a dimension, or two dimensions. So let's say I want to chamfer this edge, this corner, to at a 5 millimeters 45 degree angle. So I'll type in the chamfer command, then I'll select angle, then I'll place the distance first, 5, tap enter, then 45 degrees and enter, and then select the edges that form the corner that I want to chamfer. This one and this one. And this is a chamfered edge. Now let's try the other chamfer mode. So chamfer and then distance, the enter, and say I want to chamfer this 10 millimeters to the left and 2 millimeters down. So 10 millimeters, 2 millimeters, and I have to click. This is the first distance, this is the second distance. And this is how you use the chamfer command. Similarly, if I want to round out this corner, I can use the fillet command. So fillet command. Then I have to select what radius first. So I can type R, enter, and give it a radius of, say, 10. And now I have to select two edges, and between them it created a filleted edge. Sometimes I want a closed loop like this one to be one object, like you see here, but other times I may need only a few elements, or I need to delete something from this, but not all of it. So in order to break this into elementary objects, I can use the explode command, and I can select what I want to explode and tap enter. And now if I click on something, it is no longer a part of the whole geometry, but the software split the geometry into individual objects that I can click on and delete if I want to. The opposite is available as well. So if I have individual objects like this and I want to join them together, I use the join command. So I typed in join, and I can click on various elements. They need to be touching each other, not intersecting each other, but touching each other. And once I'm done selecting the objects, I can tap enter, and now these are one object. We also have a particular situation for circles. So if I give the circle command and create a circle here of diameter 40, so we have a circle here. I can use the break command to break a bit of it. So give the break command, and now I can click on the circle, and I can only erase some of the circle, like so. So this is the break command. The scale command is quite useful. So if you give the scale command, you have to select an object that you want to scale, tap enter, then select a base point. In this case, I want to select the center of the circle. And now you can choose if you want to scale this and delete the first object, or maybe you want to make a copy. So I want a copy, C enter for copy. And now I have to insert the scale factor. So I want to scale it 2 times. So I gave the 2 and tapped enter. If I want to like create a smaller object, I can use the scale command as well. Select the object, then select the base point, that one. Want a copy 0.5, and it scaled it by a factor of 0.5 for me. I created this alignment of objects, and now I want to create a few copies of these in an array. I can use the array command and select the objects to array and select the array type. For example, let's select rectangular array. And as you can see, this is what a rectangular array means. Distributes the objects throughout a grid of rows and columns. And in my command line here, I can select various options, like for example, how many rows. So right now there are 3 rows, but I can set this to 6 rows, as you can see here. And for example, I might want to also select the number of columns. So I can click on columns, and instead of 4, I may want 7 columns. And tap enter a few times, and this is my array of objects, which behaves like a singular object, as you can see here, but can be exploded with the explode command, and each line will be selectable on its own. Let's Control Z to go back to one object here. And another array type is the polar array. Type in array, then select the objects, tap enter, select polar, and now I can select the center point. So for example here, and I have around my center point a few items. The number of items can be changed. So set that to 4, and it changed to 4, and I can tap enter to finish the command. Let's create an array along a path. So give the array command, select the objects to array, then select the path option. Now select the path, and as you can see, the objects got arrayed on a path that was described by this line here. And similar to the other array types, we have multiple options to tweak the way the array is generated. And after we are satisfied with the array type, we can tap enter to finish generating the array. For object properties, I can choose some options that I may want to change. So for example, this line here, I want to change its properties. So up here, I have the properties tab, and I can select, for example, a color. So say I want to change the color of that line and make it this orange color here. Deselected with escape, and see that it changed color. Let's select it and try to change the thickness. So I want a thicker line, 0.8, and to be able to show the thickness because I changed it. Let's try that again. So 1. It doesn't show the thickness, so I have to go here and look for an option called line weight and check that. And once I do that, I have here a button that says show or hide line weight, and it's currently off, but when I turn it on, look at the thickness of this line. It's a 1 millimeter thick now. And if I want, I can also change the line type. Right now it's continuous, but I can go here and change that. So I want another line, and I want to, and let's load some lines. And let's select this one called dashed. So this one, okay, and selected, and okay. And my line was supposed to be dashed. Let's see if I try to change it once again. So dashed. It's still not dashed, but if I zoom in, it is dashed. And that is because my line scale is not set. So if I type in LTSCALE, give it a value of 7, let's say, it's possible to view that this line is dashed, but let's try to repeat the command and give it a value of 10. Better. Let's repeat and give it 15. And it's getting better and better in the way it looks like. So these are not individual lines, but this line is an object that has the type dashed because I selected the property here in the properties tab. And if I want this other line to have the similar properties to this, I can go here. So let's use the match properties command to make this line dashed and of this color as well. So I have to select it first, then select the match property option and select the destination. And as you can see, the other object got the same properties as the first one. This example part here is made out of a base plate, which has a through hole here and then a vertical wall. And on this vertical wall, we have an outer cylinder and an inner cylinder, which is a through hole. You can see through. This is the part we want to draw in 3 projections now. Let's establish the overall dimensions for this part. We have a length of 80, then a width of 40, and a height of 80. So this is the overall dimensions of the part. The empty space between the rectangles that we want to draw is 390 minus 80 plus 40, so 120, and over 3. That makes our horizontal empty space between the rectangles to be 90. And now let's calculate for the vertical space. So that is 277 minus still 120 and over 3. That makes it 52. Or we can choose it to be 50. So we established that we have a horizontal space to be 90 and a vertical empty space to be 50. Now we can move on to drawing the rectangles. And so my first rectangle will be from this corner point 90 towards the right and 50 towards the bottom. And I have the dimensions of this rectangle to be 80 over 80 for the first rectangle. So I'll move my coordinate system. I'll move my coordinate system here. So UCS enter, M enter, INT enter, and click here. So that I have it there. And then I'll build the rectangle. 90, comma, minus 50. And then add 80, comma, minus 80. This is the first rectangle. I'll move the coordinate system here. UCS enter, M enter, and enter, click. And then I'll create the side rectangle, which is 40 over 80 and 90 towards the right. So rectangle 90, comma 0 and at 40, comma minus 80. That's the side. We'll move the coordinate system here. UCS enter, M enter, and enter, click. And now we want the top view rectangle. So the top view will be 80 over 40 and it will be 50 millimeters downward. So rectangle 0, comma minus 50. And now at 80, comma minus 40. These are the rectangles which we will work with. First we'll draw the axis lines. So line, and let's give the first coordinate to be 20 and 13. And we'll go perpendicular to this and enter. And let's trim this out. TR, enter twice and select this and enter. And let's extend this a bit. So I want 3 millimeters downward. 3, enter, escape. This is the axis line for this hole here, and I have to do a second one here in the middle. So line, MID, click here, perpendicular to this. Okay. And now here I have some axis lines. And here for this part of the cylinder here. So for this one, I also have an axis line here at the bottom. Line MID. Click here. MID again. Click here and enter. Extend this a bit with 3 millimeters and 3 there. Escape. And now I have to place another one at, so the center of this is either 50 from the bottom, 60 from the very bottom, or 20 from the top. So I can explode this and offset 20 from the top, like so. And then I can extend this to have the axis line go like that and trim it like that. So here I have an axis line for this bottom hole and another one for the top one. On the top view here, I have 2 axes for the bottom hole and 1 for the top one. And on the side, I have 2 axes for the top hole and 1 for the bottom. So I have all of the axis lines. Just need to extend these 3 millimeters to the left and right. Okay, this as well. Millimeters. Here also. And here. Okay. I extended the required axis lines. I don't need this one. And let's check that this is a dash dotted line. So we'll go here to the line type and load in the line type called, let's select this one, center 2, which is an axis line type. Selected here. Okay, and now I'll select this line to be center 2. And I also want it to be of a red color. And I'll have to set the line type, the line type scale, LTSCALE, enter. Set that to 15. And it starts to look like an axis line. And now I have to select this one. Go here and select match properties and select this line and this line and this line here and here and here. So all of these lines are now axis lines. Now let's draw some of the outline. So line, enter, and I'll start from 10 here. So 0, 10. Then I'll click here, then here, then here, Then I'll go another 10 to the left by enabling ortho 10. Then I'll have to go down a bit. How much? Well, this is 30. The diameter of this big circle is 30, and I have it placed from the center to the top has 20. So that means that it must have like 5 millimeters here. So I'll go 5 towards the bottom. Then I'll go like that for 30. Then go like that for 30. Then return with a 30. And then go down for, let's see how much. Well, if this is 50 and we have 15 to this bottom quadrant here, so that means like 35. So we'll go down 35. So let's see, 35. And now it should connect to this one and close it. So this is the outline. I also have here some inside geometry. So the inside geometry here is the inner cylinder here, which is of a diameter of 20. So I have to offset this inside by 5 here and 5 there. So offset by 5 this line and this line, and I also have to extend it up to this point because the hole is a through hole. So extend it here and here. There you go. Now the two cylinders are visible here as circles. So C enter, D enter 20, and another circle, D enter 30. And I have this front, the side here is just like the I have to like create a rectangle here, or I can extend this line. So let's extend that, double tap that like that, and then trim this. Let's see, trim this and this. Okay, looks okay now. And here I also have a circle, diameter 20. So circle, and the diameter should be 20. And this circle here of diameter 20 should be here, like 10 to the left and 10 to the right to give the hidden lines for that hole. So if this is 10 to the left and 10 to the right, and the center is at 20 from the left, that means that if I create a line from 10 to from the left, that is the same thing. So I'll create a line that starts from 10 comma, oh sorry, so create a line that's from 10 comma 0 and goes perpendicular here and enter, and then offset that by 20. There. Those are the two lines, and now I'll copy these and place them here. So copy this and that, and take this the intersection here as the base point and place it here and enter. Let's see what else do we need here. Well, we need this cylinder to be here as well, so we'll copy it and place it here. So copy, this part here, that part there, enter, and then from this axis line here and enter. We also need this line, so I can create a line here, or I can extend this one. So let's extend that one, extend it a bit, so we have the line there. And again till the end. Okay, tap enter, trim it, trim this and this, enter. So we basically have an edge here as well. All extended like that. Enter. And this line, this one here, and this one should be hidden. I have to give them a special type of line, so other, load, search for the dashed line and load it in. Okay. So these two should be dashed. And these two should also be dashed. These should be trimmed here. Trim this. And extend this with 3 millimeters. This should also be trimmed here. Actually, the part is symmetrical, so it should remain like that. And here as well. Let's delete our rectangles where they don't overlap with the part. So here, can delete this one. And here it overlaps perfectly. And here as well. These lines should also be hidden, so we choose dashed line. And these lines also here, this one and this one, should also be dashed. They don't look to be dashed because we have to change the line type scale again. Let's make it 7. Okay, everything looks okay except for the fact that we need to have a line thickness difference between the small dash dotted line for the axis lines and the thicker lines for the outline of the projections. So let's try to do that by selecting these like that. And we'll go here to properties and choose like 0.3. Let's see, 0.3. Okay. And make sure that if this is 0.3, and it is, make sure we have the line weight visible. And now we just need to match this line's properties to this one, and here to make all these lines thicker. The only problem is that these two lines should be hidden, so they need to have both of them need to have a different line type, the dashed line type, because they are hidden from view. And also these lines here need to also be dashed. And this is the finished practice drawing.